you, Lisa and Laura. I don't know about this microphone. Is it projecting even?
Yeah. Raise it up somewhere you can do it.
Diane.
Good morning. We're going to talk about mind this morning. We're going to talk about the notion that all minds are joined, all minds are one. There's only one mind. Now we hear that from a lot of different religious teachings, a lot of different books, and pretty much we need to just take it on face value. Okay, we're all one mind, we're all one. And it's a leap, really, to totally understand what that means, and to learn to experience that in this level of our existence on this plane. Now, I want to make mention of a couple of books. I'm going to talk mostly from what I've experienced through learning about A Course in Miracles. But we have a couple of classes that meet here to study A Course in Miracles. Monday nights, Dave Bell leads a class, and Thursday afternoon, Lori Coburn leads a class. And then once a month on a Wednesday, the fourth Wednesday of the month, John Cosland leads a class that studies the Urantia book. So, these books, this is kind of a little mini version of the course. It's usually a little bit bigger than this, but there's a lot to these books. You don't just pick it up and read it over a weekend or a month even. This is lifelong study. Lifelong study to, I can't tell you how many times I've read through this book, years. We used to have a Friday night class, and it's an ongoing process to understand what these books are guiding us to understand, and the value of how we can learn to live our life in more peace, more harmony, through the concepts that are brought to us through this book. So first of all, what is mind? It's not our brain. It's not in our body. It's not the thoughts that our brain thinks. It is creation. It is the mind of God that we're talking about when we talk about we're all of one mind. And just last week, John, which is why I'm bringing the Urantia book up, John sent out this email that talks about mind, and it says, I just have a short quote, but it's pretty dense. The universe of universes in toto is mind planned, mind made, and mind administered. But the divine mechanism of the universe of universes is altogether too perfect for the scientific methods of the finite mind of man to discern even a trace of the dominance of the infinite mind. For this creating, controlling, and upholding mind is neither material mind, nor creature mind. It is spirit mind, functioning on and from creator levels of divine reality. Wow. See John, if you want greater understanding of that, and join him in his Urantia class. So the mind, the creator mind. In the Course in Miracles, we talk about the mind of God. God is not form or substance, and it's a thought system of God, which is very difficult for us to have a conceptual understanding of in our small minds. But God, all that is eternal, loving creator. So the thoughts in the mind of God are only loving. loving. And when we are joined with that mind, which we are, but we forget, or we block it, we obstruct it, but we are, we're told, joined with that one creator mind that is only love. So when we're communicating with one another in our separate, seemingly separate bodies, when we're truly communicating with one another at the level of one mind, it's only love. So there's a real small vocabulary. I love you. I see you through God's eyes, through the Spirit, and you are only love. You are one with me. We are all one. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's pretty simple. I love you. And that's the truth. And you can feel it. You can feel that love. Can't prove it scientifically perhaps, but boy, can you feel it and experience it. So when we're not in our, what of course we'll call our right mind, when we're in our split mind, where we think I'm here and you're there and I'm different, I'm either better than you or I'm not as good as you in any moment, it comes and goes. We're better than a lot of people, we're worse than a lot of people. We judge ourselves, we're in fear. Of course we're in fear if we think we're separate. If I think someone else can get something that I don't have, that I want, or take something away that's mine, it's fearful. And I'm not seeing with that one unified mind of love. I'm seeing with my small, separate, contracted little self. And I have to defend that, I think, because it's pretty scary. And so then we have all these ways that we defend. And, we point fingers, we blame, and we simply get more and more scared. And we know that, we don't have to say, yeah, that's what the book says. We experience that. And we experience contraction and fear. So the Course gives us 365 lessons. Some people might finish it in a year, but it took me a lot longer than that, and I know it takes many people a lot longer than that. But it's a lesson at a time to gradually undo the thinking of separation and fear and reinsert the remembrance of love. And so some of the early lessons in the Course teach us that what we think, we don't know. We think we're thinking all the time. We're not really thinking. We're just making up little stories and certainly not thinking with the love of God. So we do lessons that say, my thoughts are meaningless, or this thing that I think about that doesn't mean anything. We also are given experience to look at the notion that I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of what I think or what I see. So when we are in our mind where there's love, we're joined, and there's sharing, and there's extension, and the love grows. When we're in our split mind, where what we're thinking we see is fear-based, we can also share that, and people will feel it and experience it. But it's adding to the separation rather than adding to the extension of love. So we have wars, we have weapons, we have atomic bombs, we have diseases. You just put the news on, like right now in particular, isn't it just loaded with fear, hatred, conflict? And, our fear, we're prone to that fear. So if we are constantly filling our minds with what we see on the news, we're going to become more and more fearful and feel like we need to be more and more defended, and we're not going to feel joy or peace. We're going to be worried, anxious, and feeling like we got to do something about those bad people. And the other thing that does is it makes those bad people out there, and we don't look at ourselves. It's a nice strategy to avoid looking at oneself. And in fact, the only place where healing and awareness and love can come is in our own mind. You know, someone can't tell me, just be loving, or don't do that, or whatever. You have to explore it in your own mind and be brutally honest that hatred and that fear and that desire to kill is in me. It's in me. So I need to change my mind. I need to recognize those fear thoughts, those hatred thoughts, and ask for help. The Course tells us you can't do this alone. However, the good news is there is a voice for God within me, within you, within all of us that can guide us, that can lead us, that can say, God wouldn't see it like that. God knows that every bit of creation is love. Even those guys that are dropping bombs and spreading disease and doing big things. Even me, myself, who thinks negative thoughts about somebody else, hostile thoughts about somebody else, that, the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, can take that thought, if I give it to him, and transform it. And I have two little examples, and Randall gave me permission to use this. The other morning I woke up and I was sensing that Randall was cranky. I'm never cranky, no, tongue in cheek. Randall was cranky, and I was judging him. And I thought, I wish he wasn't so cranky in the morning when he wakes up. And because I've been preparing for this talk, I'm really steeped in it right now. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Because then the next thought was, what can I do to fix it? What can I do to fix his crankiness? And then
maybe more cranky.
Probably. Now he's got his back to me and being cranky, right? And I'm laying there thinking this, which is probably making me more cranky. And then, flash in my mind, what can I do about this? I could remember he is the Holy Son of God. Do you know what happened? He rolled over in that instant and smiled at me. That's a miracle. Now my other examples from last night, this is you, Annie. I didn't ask permission for this, but after we had this amazing event last night, some of you were here, of the Tibetan monks coming and chanting and demonstrating their practice. But it was a late night, and they were finished, and then we wanted to start clearing the space a little bit ready for today for the memorial service. So Annie gets out the vacuum cleaner, and I'm tired, and I'm cranky. And Annie's getting a vacuum cleaner, and she's complaining because she can't find the cord. How do I plug this in? And, did I see her as the Holy Son of God? No. I saw her as just one more irritation after this long day. So I was a little cranky in my mind, and I showed her where the cord was. And then, a little bit later, I'm still cranky, but Annie comes up to me and she says, with the sweetest presence, is there anything I can do to help you? And that was the miracle, So we're always bouncing back and forth between our judgment and our fear and our crankiness. and remembering love. Remembering love. So, I don't know about the words and the, memorizing stuff, and yeah, well, this is true because the book says it. It's the experience of it that gives us the confidence that what the book is saying is true. I can see changes in an instant, and I know you can too, when we change our own thinking. So, the Holy Spirit is there not to judge us, not to say, oh, there you go again, being selfish or whatever. The Holy Spirit is there to remind us who we are, to remind us we're loved. All of us, no exceptions. So often people say, well, what do we do about those wars and the conflict? And I would say, and many say, the answer is first, yourself. First, learn yourself. Learn about your mind. Learn about your split mind and all the havoc it creates. And learn and trust that there's also the divine mind within each of us. And we have access to it. That is the gift we have access to. So we love ourselves, we love the people in our immediate environment as much as we can, as often as we can. And we love all those people that we hear about on the news. We don't take sides. They're the good ones, they're the bad ones. Because you know what? We're all one. Nobody's worse than me. Nobody's better than me. We're all one. And when we remember love, love grows, love gets extended. And that's the message. Let's know and trust there is one universal divine mind, and it's in all of creation. And anybody can remember it in any moment. And as, of course, uses the term teachers of God, as the teachers of God, it is our responsibility to teach that. We teach it by demonstrating it. And sometimes when we forget, our brother teaches it back to us by demonstrating it. We need to simply be open to that. So there's a quote here from the Course, and I love this. It says, "You are being blessed by every beneficent thought of any of your brothers anywhere. You should want to bless them in return out of gratitude. You do not have to know them individually, or they you. The light is so strong that it radiates throughout the sonship and returns thanks to the Father for radiating his joy upon it." So every beneficent thought everywhere is of benefit to all of us at any time. You don't have to know the person, they don't have to know you. So our prayers, our thoughts are prayers, as in the song. Be conscious of what we're thinking as often as possible. And it grows. The more you do it and you feel the peace and love, the more it grows. Talks about thoughts increase by giving them away. So unlike a material possession, if we give it away, then we don't have it anymore. Our thoughts, when shared, will increase and expand. We want to share the loving thoughts and keep the unloving thoughts, giving them over to the Holy Spirit. This touches on the idea of gossip, or joining to say we have to make war on somebody, some other country or some other faction. Those thoughts maintain the separation. They do have power, even though they're of the split mind. They do have power to join, but not for good. It's for the maintenance of the separation. So being vigilant to our thoughts is very important. And as Lori talked about, we are not our bodies, we are mind. So it's not about anything in form. It's ideas, thoughts. And so we talked about even those who are no longer present in their physical form, we're still connected because the true connection is at the level of mind. Here's another short quote. The journey to God is merely the reawakening of the knowledge of where you are always and what you are forever. It is a journey without distance to a goal that is never changed. Truth can only be experienced. It cannot be described and it cannot be explained. I can make you aware, and the I in this is presumed to be Jesus. I can make you aware of the conditions of truth, but the experience of God, I can make you aware of the conditions of truth. And I've left something off. The experience is, there it is. But the experience is of God. All right. So Jesus can make us aware of conditions of truth, but when we experience it, that's of God. Together we can meet its conditions, but truth will dawn upon you of itself. And so as we, I want to tell another story. It's not just, let me say it this way. Love is everywhere, and it's not just in some sacred place that we find it. So I'm going to tell a story about Randall and I going to Meyer a few weeks ago. And we usually go through that auto checkout line that's fast and you don't have to talk to anybody. You just boom, 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 and you're out. And Randall said, I just want to take this day slow. I just want to experience this day and what it brings. Let's go through the slow line to the cashier. So we go over there. And as he noted, I was a little resistant at first, but we went over there. And we had the most fun. We're at Meyer, and we joined with two other shoppers, the one in front of us, the one behind us, and the cashier. And so, the belt is going and all the groceries are piling up and getting crushed. And so, we talked about making jokes about the boxes getting crushed. Well, it's a good thing it's not a loaf of bread. So no harm done. And pretty soon the cashier is starting to smile, and she had the carpal tunnel thing on her wrist, and she was kind of slow and had to keep, the scanner wasn't working, she had to keep using that other little thing you got to pick up. And, but she could sense, she could feel that we're all in love. And it's okay. And she starts laughing and kind of joking back with all of us. And then the guy behind us says, all this stuff, that's on their bill, And we talked about, the 2-for-1 helmets. And, I wanted to buy that anyway, and I didn't see it. But we just had a ball. It was slow. It was definitely much slower. But we both talked about it afterwards, what a neat experience and how nice it was. We made the choice to connect with our brothers and experience love. We didn't know we were doing that. It wasn't like a conscious, let's go connect with our brothers and experience love. It's just, let's stop rushing. And it was a miracle. So look for all those miracles. They're everywhere. They're all around. Multiple opportunities for miracles. Every waking moment is an opportunity for a miracle. So, and we need to share it. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up now and let you have open mic time. But the attainment, there's 2 quotes. The attainment of the real world says, sit quietly and look upon the world you see and tell yourself, The real world is not like this. It has no buildings and there are no streets where people walk alone and separate. There are no stores where people buy an endless list of things they do not need. It is not lit with artificial light, and night comes not upon it. There is no day that brightens and grows dim. There is no loss. Nothing is there but shines and shines forever. And finally, this is a prayer. I desire this holy instant for myself, that I may share it with my brother, whom I love. It is not possible that I can have it without him, or he without me. Yet it is wholly possible for us to share it now. And so I choose this instant as the one to offer to the Holy Spirit, that his blessing may descend on us and keep us both